Hi everyone, how is everyone doing today? So I'm actually already dressed and I'm just gathering some energy to actually leave the couch. Um, Today I want to talk. I think today's topic is specifically for women and in a heterosexual relationship. So boys, you can listen to this, I guess, if you want to. I watched this comedy show last night on YouTube, and there is this one that titled uh taking credit for fart leading to marriage. And I found that very interesting. He was telling the story about how he found out that his wife made a decision. No, he found out when his wife made a decision to marry him. It was like when they were like 4 months dating, 4 months in dating wise, and they were in this close environment of a bus, and it was her best friend's wedding. And and then, because like the comedian is the husband, so the husband is telling it from his perspective. The husband was saying, oh, I was just looking at this wave of fart basically hitting the whole bus, because it came from the back where we were sitting, and then everyone just started to become really sick because it smelled really bad. And suddenly, finally it hit the front, and the groom flipped out because the groom was saying there is no window on this bus. So the air was basically trapped. So, and he looked and he turned around to his wife, basically wanted to laugh with her, and his wife was basically having her face on her palm. That's when he realized that it was his wife fart, well, his girlfriend at that time, um, fart that that took down the whole bus. So after he realized that, he basically just, casually just say, it was me. So he took the credit for the fart, and he didn't really think anything of it. He didn't even know that was the decision that made, her to want to marry him. Because in the story, he was like retelling it. He said, his wife said to her best friend, basically said, that's when I know I'm gonna marry that son of a bitch tomorrow. And I think, like, that's a very, very stereotypical, I think very stereotypical story, especially when it comes to like men and women's storyline. It's like men don't know. It's like if you take responsibility even for this particular silly thing as fart, it's like that's really cool. And I think that's how it is supposed to be done, because the first thing that the man is supposed to provide and protect. And even though it was just merely a fart, that's what he did. He provide protection. And he oh, I know it's a silly thing, but what he did, that was protection, and he took responsibility for her. Not recommending it though. And I think like that's just a very simple analogy. I'm not saying like, if your wife killed someone, you should take responsibility for that. I don't think you should. um but women, I think that's how if you are with a man who constantly blaming you, criticizing you, and putting you down. Every single mouth, every single thing that came out from his mouth is basically trying to either drag other people down, drag your friends down, your family down, trying to isolate you from your family. Everything that, if you want to do something, or if you want to explore something, like for example, if you want to take up a course, for example, in, I don't know, in coding or in sewing or in art or in anything. And then, like, I'm not saying that if you're one of those people that basically are a serial class taker, but you never really pursue anything, okay, fine, that's probably a drain into, the family's financial resources, because you never really follow through with anything. But I mean, like, when you really, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you actually very interested in something, and then you found yourself, you really want to pursue this as a profession because you want to see how it goes, you have a talent for it, and then you're very serious. And I think In and then he would say like, what's the point, you're gonna be not doing it anyway, like the chances are very low for you to be successful, because that's not the point, right? The point is for you to kind of expand yourself, expand your mind, and expand who you are as a human being. And if they keep telling you, like basically scolding you, like if you're an adult, unless it's your mother, I don't think anyone should scold you. um if you're like trying to make new friends outside of your current circle, or outside of him basically, and then he's trying to make a drama so that your friends don't want to be friends with you anymore, so that's not good. I think like these are red flags, and never identify this as, oh, he loves me. Never identify this as affection. It's his own insecurity, and you cannot take responsibility for it, because you're not supposed to take responsibility for him. It's the other way around. And I think like for women, men who take responsibility is very, very attractive. And I think there is always a reason for that. It's because you will feel safe. You know that whatever happens, if I have children with this man, my children will be protected, because it's it's just in his instinct to do so. He doesn't even think about it twice. And even in this particular bit that this comedian was doing, he didn't know until she basically told, she was being asked by another friend about, how did you make a decision to marry him. So he didn't even know, he didn't even remember how it, what he did and why he did it. It wasn't a big deal. And you want to date men like that. You want to date men who take responsibility, and it's just part of his character, that is just like, it's not a thing that he wants credit for. Most men will say, I did the dishes, I want credit for that. Oh, I take out the rubbish once in like a year, I want credit for that. Oh, I babysit our own children, I want credit for that too. And I think like that's just glimpses of like the responsibility nature of the man. And I think that's a good story for me, like for that comedian bit that I watched yesterday. So I thought I'd share it, and maybe it will help you if you're a woman and you're trying to date and you're trying to figure out, oh, what is a good man and what's trying to find out. Those are probably a very good characteristic to find. I'm not saying to test them like deliberately, because I think that's not good either, to test people, because I feel like that's manipulation in a sense. But I think like if you ought to be observant of their little details, because I think, as Brené Brown said, trust is built in the micro moments of life. And I think you should watch those micro moments, not the big gesture, not the one that they do after a big fight, after they call you whore, bitch, or whatever, and then they suddenly sprung you up like, oh baby, I book you, a massage. Oh baby, I book you a spa day. That's not. Those are not trust building. Those are basically payment for abusing you. Anyway, I will talk to you guys later. I will need to leave this particular couch. As much as I love them. Look, the blue faded and the blonde came out again. Should I do it with red or something? I was screaming all day yesterday, that's why I'm losing my voice. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Bye everyone, and see you next week.